wretched man that I am, who shall deliver me from the body of this death? Well, you have to get beyond the conflict. You have to get beyond the struggle, because as long as there's conflict, you're not going to be able to do the things that you would. You know, when you're fighting each other, where is there time to take the gospel to the lost or to edify them that are saved? When you're fighting amongst yourself, you don't have that opportunity. But in any case, you know, not having a pastor, having that sense of being leaderless, sometimes that weighs on you. Another thing that can tend to discourage you, our fellowship is aging. We don't seem to have an influx of young people. So it seems like our congregation is getting older, but we're not getting any new blood in. Okay? And so what tends to happen? People begin to get up in age, and as they do, they begin to incur health problems, and the kind of assistance that they could give at one time, they can no longer give that, and the ministry began to wane. And because you don't see the influx of new people coming in, you tend to, there's a tendency to just simply maintain. You just maintain the status quo, and it's almost like the kingdom disciples. When the program changed, the only thing they could do is maintain what they had, because there was not going to be any growing of their fellowship anymore. The Kingdom Saints fellowship ceased to grow after God introduced the dispensation of grace. So what happened to them? They died out. And when they died out, guess what? You had no more Kingdom Church. Okay? Now you were only left with the Grace Church. Okay? The church of the mystery rather than the church of prophecy. Okay? Well, that's tend to what happens when you get a congregation that begins to age and not bring in any new blood, new converts. And that's why I say staying the course is not just simply maintaining, but doing the work of an evangelist. I mean, if you have any hope of growing and changing the trend in your fellowship, you're going to have to do the work of an evangelist. You can't do otherwise. And this becomes the work of every individual, every member of this assembly. It becomes your challenge. It becomes your work. It becomes your occupation. Brother King and I was talking there a few moments ago about the commitment that it takes. He's taken on the responsibility of overseeing the word being taught here and teaching it, and not just bringing people in, but doing the work himself. Well, that takes some reorganization in your life. And it's going to take some reorganization in each and every one of your life to see this work continue, not just maintain and eventually die out, but to continue. Continuing is not, staying the course is not just maintaining, but it is being about that which enables this ministry to flourish, to continue, to be a testimony, to be a witness, to be a lighthouse, to be a beacon. You're not in the mainstream, as I said before. Everything that we do is swimming against the current of mainstream. It's like the David and Goliath scenario. But you got to have the faith of David. You see, it seemed like a daunting task. It seemed like you can talk to 100 people and maybe get one person to express a little interest. And you do this day in and day out throughout the course of your life, and yet you see little fruit from it. It tends to be discouraging. But can I tell you, if you didn't do that, you have no hope, no chance of maintaining this testimony, maintaining this witness. Okay? You see, it's easy to quit. And quitting sometimes, even when it seems like we're still carrying on, we've quit. Because if all we're doing is just coming here, week after week, but during the course of the week, we're not reaching out, actively reaching out. Now, you got to do it collectively, but you also individually have to be reaching out to people consistently, constantly. I mean, that has to be your life's objective, to see lost people, because that's why you exist. That's what a local church is about. It is an instrument of God. And we cease to be lovers of God and become lovers of pleasure when we cease to do the work that is necessary to see lost people saved and save people edified. Even if it's only one person, that's okay. But you know and I know we have to work hard to get one person. And you have to be diligent, and you can't quit. You can't give up because, well, it doesn't seem to do any good because everybody I talk to don't seem like they want to hear it. Well, there's somebody out there that will. You did, I did. and consider the odds then. They haven't changed. They're the same. Okay? So we don't want to depart away from what's essential. That's why the local church, Paul talks about great is the mystery of godliness. God was manifest in the flesh, justified in the spirit, seen of angels, preached unto Gentiles, believed on in the world, received up into glory. That's the course of your history. But that's the local church. You see, God was believed on in the world. And now, time is gone, but let me just say this in closing. You got to stay Pauline. You got to preserve that. When you talk about bringing people in, you have to preserve. You have to know whether or not that person shares the same value. And this this can't be someone that is kind of weak on the message. You have to know that this person has some real rooted and grounded in being Pauline and what that means. And continue in prayer and watching the same with thanksgiving. Be thankful for what you have. I mean, don't become disappointed with the few. Like I